I hate my life. And I hate you. Now watch me get content ID'd for that. And by the way, I am just kidding. I don't actually hate you. I am not that miserable. Welcome back to Blood Omen 2. Now this part I have actually played through before because I don't know why. The footage did not get saved for some reason. But I suppose I am just reduced to more of fighting the Hilden, which I am getting surprisingly skilled at because this is a very serious challenge. And as such, I know all the puzzles, I know all the blue lore boxes, which there is a surprising number of here in the Hilden device. And yeah, a couple of them are actually somewhat hidden, which is really nice. And this puzzle is for me to flick a switch to allow myself to charm that guy down there to flick another switch. By the way, whoever came up with that sound effect, whoever thought that it was a good idea, I want to kill that person. Okay, now we turn another switch and then we use the remote switch pushing interface. God, that sound is obnoxious. This is disgusting. Yeah, moderately disgusting. Not even moderately, that's highly disgusting. The hitbox. Yeah. Yep. This is how we play Blood Omen 2. We find imperfections, which there are lots of. This is one thing that I don't understand. Blood Omen 2 could have been made so much more workable by just reducing the amount of hours of gameplay, by making it twice as short, because as it stands the game is about as long as both Soul Reaver games put together. Just so you understand the scale. Just instead of making it this long and drawn out, what they could have done, they could have added some touches, they could have just done some tweaks to the combat system, they could have expanded on the concept of dark gifts, they could have made the evasive maneuvers actually useful outside of dodging unblockable attacks. They could have just added a little bit more variety by adding some tiny touches, just adding one or two types of secrets, adding a couple of Easter eggs with references to, with nods to the other Legacy of Kain games. Hell, make nods to Chakan even, like... Yeah, but instead we have just this long drawn-out sequence of standing in blocks and solving puzzles. Solving switch puzzles. Which even the most complex of them just involve, turning a switch to literally just enable turning of another switch, and that's it. And this is what annoys me so much about this game. This is why Blood Omen 2 is... well, I cannot in good conscience call it a well-designed game. Also, they reuse the sound clips from the first Blood Omen in their original quality, which I cannot stand by, which I do not like. I mean, it's kind of cool that it's kind of cool that it's a nod, but at the same time, come on, they could have just re-recorded them. Well, most of them at least. And yes, well, combat. Like, literally, you could have done two more things to it. They could have done... literally, add add usefulness to the evasion moves, and you have a more workable combat system, combat mechanic. But no, instead I'll use this combat engine, which is not bad by itself. And by the way, I am screwing this up. First I need to turn that switch on. It's off. This is a glyph puzzle. Yeah, you would have immediately had more variety, but the way it stands is just so monotonous and repetitive. Oh god, this is not the jump. This is the jump. This one is actually kinda nice in that you don't have to wait for an eternity to... well, for the green goo to reach the switch. It's almost perfectly timed. Yeah, if only all of them were like this, it would have not been an issue. And I will have to get that box, which I forgot to get. Now what... this is what you're supposed to do, because like this. Does this look like a movable block? It does not get highlighted, it does not get anything, it does not stand out in any way, it's just here. But now we destroy this thing, which is what I assume a node for the mass. And yeah, this is a weird puzzle. Because movable blocks, up until this point we've only had one kind of a movable block, and they were always highlighted. And the game trained us to search for them, to see them, identify specifically them as movable blocks. And now suddenly we are required to do this. That's not great game design. And the hitboxes with these ledges are weird. By the way, there is nothing that can be done with them. They are just there, and they will stay there, within the depths of the device. Well, that is a new camera angle. Okay, now this part, this is actually the mass itself, or rather it's above us, and from this point on all that is left is to just get up, get all the way up, and that is where we will kill the mass, which has a conveniently placed ovipositor. That's the only way I can describe it, which is also conveniently happens to be a vulnerable access point, like that hatch with, like that hatch on the Death Star. Yeah, now the game requires you to backtrack, because that is the correct way to make you progress forward. Although to be fair, that is better than... I mean, really, thankfully it's not very far, so it kind of beats the usual routine of just going forward without having to even think. So yeah, that's kind of nice, I guess. And this seems to be a hibernating Hilden. No. The hibernating Hilden. Or alternatively, the hibernating the Hilden. Yeah, why is this here? Why is this here? No, really. Another the hibernating the Hilden. By the way, speaking of articles, that's also another thing. Really. Another thing is that in the video that I recorded previously and that got its footage lost, I was talking about how there's one thing in, oh, for crying out loud, in the foreign languages, in whatever foreign languages you learn, that is always completely counterintuitive. That thing is prepositions, because even if you are studying a language that is close to your native language or to a language that you are fluent in, they will, no matter what, be counterintuitive, and they will not make any sense, at least on the gut level. At least not until after you have, well, memorized them by heart. Yeah, it's that, and the other thing is that whichever concepts are present in the language you are learning that are simply not present in any form in your native language, these will also be a pain to learn. For example, for me, these are articles, because in Eastern Slavic languages there are no... By the way, you cannot jump onto that ledge from here, you have to do it from a box, because that makes total sense. For me it's articles because they are not present in Eastern Slavic languages. There is no definite or indefinite form of nouns there. So it's a pain. A slight pain, but a pain nonetheless. And that's why, even though, I mean, you can hear my English, you cannot even identify my accent as a Russian accent until after you know that it's Russian. But I still make mistakes sometimes with articles and occasionally, although not as frequently, with perfect tenses. And this guy is annoying me because he was not doing this. Come on, attack me. There we go. By the way, this scream that they have, this is irritating, this is annoying. Yes, I accidentally released the key. And I almost missed out on all the lore. Okay, now this part. God, this part. I remember this part. I mean, even before I played it played through it yesterday, I remembered this part. Water, trap, death, suspense, panic, fear. Oh wait, there's that conveniently walking switch turning interface. Probably the biggest challenge is actually getting past this Hilden before the water reaches the level where it begins to hurt Kain. But even then, it's not an insta-kill, it's very shallow, so it hurts Kain slowly. It's time. No, not for that. It's time. It's time. That was a bit hectic. Why is this here? Ah, of course, a switch. What exactly does... Yeah, like this does... Why? Why is it here? Why could you not just make it a passageway? It had to be switch powered. It had to be a switch powered elevator. And now we are going all the way down just to get up. Oh, by the way, introducing the mass. Yes, this is that access point that I was talking about. It will be used to
At last I had found it. The foul mass, hidden within the bowels of the device. Here was the Sarafan Lord's ultimate weapon, his trump card, to be played against human and vampire alike. But I had my own weapon. I could feel the Builder's blood course coldly through my veins. If I could use it to poison this creature, the Sarafan Lord's plans would be ruined.
Yes, Kain is absolutely certain that it's the blood of the builder and not of the 10,000 Hilden that he has already killed here. Well, I suppose that we are now free to get to the to the higher ground, to the higher point here. And once we do that, we will be free to poison and thus kill the mass and thwart the plans of the Hilden, so that we can later proceed to kill the Seraphim Lord. And this Hilden is quite annoying. Oh, will you start attacking me regularly already, please? Finally! Kill it with fire! Okay, now there was a blue lore box somewhere. I think it was somewhere there. Yes, I wish there was more of this. More just going a little bit out of your way, and suddenly, even if it's something as minute and insignificant as a lore box, it still adds variety, it still makes the area a bit more fun. I mean, the operative word here is a bit, but more fun nonetheless. There's also that cavity. There's nothing in there. There will always be an elevator, and there will always be a switch. And now we wait. Oh wow, another lesser demon. This is getting a bit repetitive. Well, at least this guy charged up my... well, it's no longer the Dark Gift or Rage bar, it's now the Immolate bar. Because that's the only thing I'm gonna use it for. He almost charged up my Immolate bar. So next time I encounter the Hilden, I'll be able to kill them much quicker than I'm normally supposed to. Because normally it's supposed to be long and drawn out, because why would it not be? Guess what? Another elevator, another switch. Yes, what was the purpose of this? What kind of challenge does it present? How is this a puzzle? A puzzle is something that's supposed to test intelligence and ingenuity, not tenacity. Okay, now we can actually take a good look at the mass. And it looks like something from Kain, that's one thing. And secondly, it looks like a large recolored mushroom. Specifically a... now I am probably butchering the pronunciation. A chanterelle, or chanterelle, I'm not sure how it's pronounced in English. I actually had to look it up. Well, first time I tried recording this, I actually remembered the Russian name, obviously, Lisichka, and the Swedish name, which is Kantarell, but I did not remember the English one. And I still realized that I don't remember the pronunciation. But still, the mass is a giant, pulsating, red mushroom. Oh, I'm sorry. The mass is a giant, pulsating red mushroom. And yes, the mass, the device, the Hilden City, the Wharves, the Seraphim Lord, the Beast. I will have fun with that. If you hate this, keep hating. This is my primary means of enjoying this LP. This might even spread to Defiance, so Yeah. Okay, we are almost all the way up. But first, of course, we need to repeat the same thing we already did 5 times, another 3 times. Which is getting up on an elevator like half a level, and then fighting a Hilden, then turning some switch. Will you attack me normally already, please? Thank you. Now burn! That felt even more tedious than it normally is. Well, that's a large, pulsating, throbbing thing. Oh wow, a switch-powered elevator. Well, I think I saw that before. Did you? And they had to make you wait for the elevator to go down, of course. But, by the way, there is nothing there. It's just there to irritate you. We are almost at the mass. And in the next part, we will kill the mass and thus destroy the device. And of course, afterwards, we will have like 15 minutes of cutscenes. So look forward to that. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Bye.